by of course starting to live a healthy lifestyle.
Healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that will improve that will prevent not only stroke, that will prevent heart attacks, prevent cancer, and make you a much more healthier person.
Yes,
in the long
I know.
run.
Wow, that's quite interesting. Is there any treatment for strokes that we should be aware of? I mean, general.
Yes. Now there is this general belief. There used to be this general belief, which I'm glad to say things are changing now. There used to be this belief that nothing can be done once you have had a stroke, which is far from the truth. There are lots of things that we can do. And there are several new things that have come up, which one of the most important things is that patients should be managed in a stroke unit, a dedicated unit for stroke patients, which unfortunately we don't have a lot in our country.
Okay.
But hopefully we will develop a few more in the near future. Right. That is one. And another very important thing is rehabilitation. Yeah. Stroke leads to a lot of disability. Okay. After stroke, 1/3 of the people would die. 1/3 would be disabled.
Oh dear.
And will be dependent on others for their everyday activities.
Yes.
And only 1/3 would be able to look after themselves. So it's a huge burden that you have.
Yes.
So the disabled people need rehabilitation to make them better and to make them to get them back as useful normal, citizens in the society.
Yeah.
So rehabilitation plays a huge role. And there are certain drugs that we can use, especially in the acute setting, which can minimize the brain damage.
Yeah,
so there's a lot that we can do.
I'm so glad that there's a National Stroke Association in Sri Lanka.
Thank you.
Because I had honestly no idea that was such a serious thing. Because obviously I knew that when you are obese and when you're overweight and when you don't have a healthy lifestyle, you are prone to many diseases, not just stroke. But to make the population of Sri Lanka aware of small things, like you said, I think it's very important. And this course will highlight it, I'm sure. So why is it important in Sri Lanka, Dr. Uday? Why is it important to make people aware of
stroke is a major health problem anywhere in the world.
Okay.
Every 2 seconds, somebody in the world will have a stroke.
So right now people are having strokes?
Yep. So many would have had a stroke while we were talking.
Oh my goodness, this is scary.
Every 6 seconds, somebody is going to die from a stroke.
Oh dear Lord, okay.
So stroke is such a huge problem, it's such a common problem, people just are not aware of that.
Okay.
And as I said, 1/3 will die, 1/3 will be disabled. And in Sri Lanka, the problem is that we probably have one of the highest rates of stroke anywhere in the world.
Oh,
if you look at the community, roughly about 1% of our community may have had a stroke, judging from the data that we have from community studies.
And which
is a huge number.
Yeah, that is. I mean,
and that's going to get worse and worse because our population structure is changing, and thanks to the good health care that we have, more and more people are living into old age.
Yes.
More and more people, therefore, are going to have things like diabetes and high blood pressure, heart disease and things like that, which make them more vulnerable to having strokes. And we are going to have a lot more strokes in the future. So we really need to develop our services.
Wow.
So that's why it is important. And stroke is a family tragedy. When somebody gets a stroke and becomes disabled, the whole family has to look after them. So that's why stroke is important. And in Sri Lanka it's especially important, probably in the rest of South Asia as well, where we seem to be having far more frequent strokes than in the rest of the world.
Wow.
And especially among young people.
Among young people?
Among young people. Now, in most of the other, say the Western countries, stroke is commonly seen in the old age groups like 70 and above. Even here it is the same. But in our countries, in the South Asian countries, we probably see strokes happening in much younger people like 30s and 40s, which is sad.
That's actually quite sad. And it's amazing that you are making people more aware of it. I mean, as I said earlier, I'm very glad that there's a National Stroke Association in Sri Lanka so that people actually can go there and get to know some details. We are officially medically scaring our audience early in the morning.
Yes.
Because Dr. Uday just publicly declared that 1/3 of the people who get affected are going to die, 1/3 of them are going to get disabled. So, okay, let's be aware of it. Okay, so the journey is going to be held on the 13th of October at 7 p.m. at Bishop's College Auditorium.
Yeah.
And all you people out there who want to do good and who want to listen to some good music and also who want to promote a very, very worthy cause. It's a mingled up, it's a mixture of Flame and the National Stroke Association of Sri Lanka. So be there at the Bishop's College Auditorium at 7 p.m. on the 13th of October, which is a Sunday, I think.
Sunday.
It's a Sunday. All right, so on that note, we have to say goodbye to Renzi Pereira and Dr. Uday Ranawaka. Thank you so much for being here. I learned a lot personally. I'm sure our audience out there learned a lot as well and got a little bit scared, but that's all right. If you missed any of our parts, any of the parts of our discussion, please go on YouTube and check us out on Good Morning Sri Lanka. You can also give us your feedback on www.facebook.com/Good Morning Sri Lanka. We'll be right back after this commercial break, so don't go away. Welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka. You're still with me, Anupama. Before the break, we were talking to Dr. Uday Ranawaka, the president of the National Stroke Association of Sri Lanka, and we were also talking to Renzi Pereira, who is the founder of the band Flame. And we introduced their very worthy cause, their project, the concert called The Journey, which is going to be held on the 13th of October at the Bishop's College Auditorium at 7 p.m. So don't miss it if you want to enjoy some really good music and also to to sponsor a very worthy cause. Okay, so after the break, we have two very drastically different guests from the previous guests. We have Dr. Samantha Jayasekara and Indra Jayasekara, Mrs. Indra Jayasekara right here with us. And they're not medical doctors, they're not musicians, they're very, very famous chefs. Okay, a senior chef and her daughter. Dr. Son's like, no, I'm not a chef. That's cool. So, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Well, thanks.
I heard from Dr. Samantha that you actually came for this show all the way from London. Is that true?
No, from Colombo.
Yes, from Colombo. Yeah. I'm sorry. So, you were here since when during these few days, and what have you been doing? Because I know that Mrs. Indra has been in Hong Kong and you were in London. So what have you been doing after you came back to Sri Lanka?
I've been doing lots of eating.
All right, eating of your own mother's favorite food. Right. So you are, Mrs. Indra, a very, very senior teacher, I must say, a veteran teacher, and you're a consultant on Southeast Cookery.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that, what Southeast Cookery is.
Well, I will start with Sri Lankan, of course, and then one of the most popular countries now is Thai food.
Thai food?
Yes.
All right.
So I do a lot of Thai cooking, Indonesian, Malaysian, Singaporean, and of course I also do Mediterranean, which is another very popular healthy type of eating. And
but you specialize in Sri Lankan food.
Sri Lankan food, yes.
Look at the glow on your face when you say Sri Lankan food.
I know.
It must be your passion. Where did this begin, Mrs. Jayasekara? Where did your passion for cooking begin?
Well, actually it was just plain cooking at home. My neighbors who were from different parts of the world used to come to me and say, oh, we get this beautiful aroma, smells coming from your apartment. What are you cooking?
So those were your first customers, unofficially.
And I was actually forced into this as a sort of a social event. And then, of course, I used to do a lot of charity work, cooking for different fairs and so on. Then, of course, I had a few classes, and then it grew from there. And after that, when my daughter was at school, it's a very sort of funny story. I used to make her food, and it was very mildly spiced. She must have been about 9 years.
And she was like,
and
not spicy enough.
Oh yes, but what happens is she takes the food to the school and she gives it to her friends.
All right.
And then the friends' parents, mothers, ring me up and ask me, what are you cooking for your daughter?
This is amazing.
I know. And then, so you see, it's one of those things which grows. and all the spicy types of food, which some in Western countries they don't. Well, now they do eat a lot, but before it used to be not so popular. And amongst children, it used to be like taboo because they were frightened to introduce it to them. But now, everybody sort of likes to eat so much of course international food that spicy foods come as a very interesting item in their menu.
It's quite interesting to see that it's all unplanned. The whole getting into this industry is very unplanned.
That's right.
It just suddenly happened. It was actually a good thing.
It was indeed a surprise to me as well.
Well, the surprise has taken you a long way. All right, so I heard that you left to Hong Kong, Mrs. Jayasekara.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to leave?
Leave Hong Kong, well, because first of all, my husband finished his contract there, and then actually we planned to move back to Sri Lanka after that. And we sort of had this place as a base. Mostly we travel quite a bit.
Right.